In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of publishing a course edition and then connecting that edition to a published section. So I'm going to take you through a couple of our tools. One, you'll have to use Design in order to publish that edition, and you'll have to use Admin to create the section. And the order I'm going to show this to you in is the order that I typically teach this. And the reason I do it is because it's very verifiable. You can go through the process, and at each step you can verify that you have done each part correctly. But keep in mind, this is not the only way to do it, but I am just going to show you this way initially, and then I'll show you the other methods later on in other videos. So let's get started by going into the design view. So our first step is really just to access that course. So I'm going to click on Design, and then to locate the course quickly, I'm going to click on my keyboard, go to Control F in order to use the Find feature within the browser, and then I'll type in the name. This helps me locate it very quickly. Once the course is loaded, there's a couple things I want to show you. One, this is the format of the course that I'm currently working on. All of these different sections we're going to talk about when it comes to the format. And the reason the format is important is that format has to match later on when we deploy a section. So we're going to come back to that, but keep that in the back of your head as that's something we're going to come and look at here in just a moment. So in this case, I have one format that I'm going to worry about, and I'm now going to publish an edition of that. What I like to do is to verify my edition numbers to make sure that the next one that I publish is the appropriate number, and then I'm either keeping the sequence or at the very least keeping the format that I'm using of those different ones. So to do that, I want to verify it by using the history. When I click on the history, I can see all of the editions that I have published. In my case, I've been publishing editions of this course since fall of 2014. And so I have several that are here that I can go back and look at, number one. And two, I can see that my latest edition is 2015. So I'm in winter of 15, version 1.8.0. So that's the format that I've chosen to use. So I can see that's what that is. So I'm going to make sure that my next edition falls within this format. So I've only made small changes. So in my case, I'm going to make my edition number winter, so W15 1.8.1. So keep that in mind. That's what we're going to do next. So I've verified that. Now I'm going to click close on this. And now I'm going to click publish. So essentially what I'm saying is all the changes I've made here warrant me publishing a new edition that I can connect to my next section. So I'll click publish. It automatically saves the course for me, so I don't have to worry about losing the changes that I just made. And then again, I'll click publish. Now in this case, you probably won't see this page. This is a page that we use on some of the different instances that we have of Blue Quill. So in my case, I have to fill this out. So let me do that real quick for you. So I'm just going to fill out this information. But again, you probably will not see this step. But most importantly, down here at the bottom, I need to enter that edition number. And again, it must be unique to the other editions that exist. So it'll be W15.1.8, and in my case 1. So I've just made a small change. But again, this edition number and process and format can really be anything you want, as long as it's something that you can keep track of and it has meaning to you. Once I've entered the information and I've made sure that I've done the other parts that I had to do, I'm going to click confirm. Depending on the length of the course and the amount of material that's in it, this can take a minute to do. So just keep that in mind. If it seems like it's taking too long, it may just be that you have a lot of material, and not to be alarmed. But just keep an eye on the little tracker that tells you it's working. So now it tells me that my course has been published, and it gave me that edition number and said, yes, you were successful. So now I can close this, and I can go back to the course edit. Now, this is a step of verification. So I want to verify that that format that the edition that I just published is showing in the history. So the first thing I'll do is refresh the page. And then I will click on History. And now we can see that that new edition is in fact published. W15 1.8.1. So this is the one that we're going to be thinking about and remembering as we go along. Now, next thing I'm going to do, and this is not unnecessary, but again, this is a verification step that I like to do. I'm going to take a screen capture of this because I want to verify that information later and remember what it is. So I'm going to grab my snipping tool here, and I'm just going to take a screen capture of that whole page and then kind of keep it off to the side, because here's the information that I want to capture and that I care about. I care about making sure that I know what this edition number is, and I want to use this format information as well. So those are two things that are important to me in the next steps coming up. So I am going to put that in the background, and we will pull that back up later. So again, the course is saved. The history shows that I have published my edition, and now we're going to hold on to that information, and we're now going to move to the admin tool. So I'm going to click on admin, and the next major step is publishing and deploying a course section. And in this case, our course section is defined as the section being where we're going to enroll students and assign instructors to teach it. So to do that, I'm going to go to Section Maintenance and then click on Deploy New Section. So the section deployment means that I'm creating this, it's kind of like a copy. Basically, you're taking it and you're connecting it to the copy that will be used by students. So I'm going to kind of redo my page a little bit so we can see the information we want to see. And again, so you can kind of look at that verification and how that works. I get a little bit creative here. So there's my format. And there is my other page. Okay. As I said, we'll come back to this a couple of times. Okay, so I have a number of pieces of information that I need to enter and that I need to configure in order to make this work properly. I need to know what, in this case it says trimester, but it's synonymous with term. So what term are we talking about? What term do we want this course to run? Department, number, section, and so on. So let's walk through each of those, and we will use this information down here when it is appropriate to do so and when we need to use it. So trimester, again, term. I want this course to run in winter of 2015. And my department, let's roll that up. Remember, that is the BQL 210. So that's the department that we care about. So I'm going to enter that, BQL, and then the number 210. Next, it's the section name. Now again, this is a system that you often have. For instance, the system I use is all of mine are numbered. So I want to enter the number for this section. In my case, I have them as a 3-digit, and so my next increment is 038. I actually have a 039 as well, but in this case I have 39 sections of this running, so I'm incrementing them, and I'm using 38 for this example. The next thing we'll look at is instruction. So instruction means where is it being offered. So in our case, we've got lots of different options, but this is where this becomes very critical. So go down here at the bottom. You see how this says TR down here? That means it's a training instruction. So my instruction type is training. So when I do this drop down, I'm going to choose train. For you, it could be a number of different things that can be configured, but that's the example. TR equals train. And again, that has to match. The next is the type. The type is an online course. Now that's our default, but you'll notice in the drop-down that there are many options. There's lecture, blended, hybrid, telecommuting. I'm not sure what the other ones are. Oh, hybrid face-to-face. So there's a couple of different ones you can choose. For my case, I'm going to choose online. And I know that from this down here again, which says online. So again, that also has to match. Next, we have start date. The start date, again, is what you need to choose. So whether your terms or each of your start dates, it should align with that start date because that's where the dates in the course will align with the start dates that you designate here. So for instance, if I want this course to run starting the 30th of March, I would choose March 30th, and then the end date can either align with the format or it can align with however you want that end date to be, keeping in mind that the format and the way the dates are calculated, those have to match. My case, even though this is only a 1-week course, I want them to have access to it and have it be active for a month. So I'm going to go to the next month and choose, approximately a month anyway, and choose April 27th. So that's a decision I can make. I'm then going to scroll down, and now I can designate an instructor. I do not have to do it at this point, but in my case I am going to. I would enter the instructor name. I'd start to type the last name, and it actually fills in. And the instructor is me, so I'm going to choose my name. Next, we have another field that has to match the format. Number of weeks. Weeks, again, see how this has a 1 here? This is a 1-week course, which means that those dates are calculated based on 1 week. So I need to choose 1 week of that, and I need to enter it in numbers only, so it's 1. So I put a 1 here because there is a 1 here. Next, we have location. This can also be a lot of different things. In my case, however, it's again an online course, so I don't have a physical location in which this course is going to run. So I just need to find online in my list and click online. Frequency. Frequency in this case is any. And this also, again, equals what's here. You see this AY here? AY means any. And that means that it's a weekly course as opposed to a weekend type of format. Next, we have schedule. Now, you'll notice that that is not a field that has an asterisk, meaning it's not required. However, if you don't enter anything here, the attendance tool will not be turned on. So you have to enter content here in order to activate that attendance tool. There in the documentation you'll find the entire listing of how to do that properly. So in this I'll just use an example. This course runs on Monday from 6 to 9 p.m. So I'm going to enter Monday, which is M. So that's just a basic example. And when I say runs, as in those are when the typical meeting times are. Building. Were this to be a course that is running face-to-face, I would need to designate that this is has a building. Maybe I'll put the building name and the room number or lecture hall, something like that. Now, when I get all of that done, we can just kind of verify through there, make sure that it's all filled out properly. If it's not, it will tell you. If there's something missing, it'll say, hey, you forgot to add this in, or you didn't put the right type in there. However, it is looking for this, all of this information we just entered that matches this. So again, it has to be those same formats. Then I'm going to click on Deploy. And you can say that the section was created successfully. So that means that this section is now sitting in the queue and it is now connected with this course. So basically what happens is as soon as you create it, it goes out and looks for that course edition and says, oh, there you are, you match, and it puts them together. Now, just like we did with the creating the edition, let's verify that what we just did occurred properly, and we can verify that. So if I go into the Edit an Existing Section area, I can then look for the one I just created. So I'm going to show you how that works. So we'll go to Department, and again, we know what that is. That's BQL. The number 210. Now this is interesting. I have lots of sections. So I have section 34 through 39 that are running. But if I were to say any, it would give me all of that list. So if I click search, I can now see all of the listings. which is rather interesting. If I wanted to narrow it out, however, I could do just instead. I could just do 38 and just get the one I wanted. But I'm going to do any and then kind of show you how that works. So when I do the any, it gives me all of them. Now, remember the edition that we published? The most recent edition, which is going to go with section 39 and 38, is W15 1.8.1. So do you see that on the page? I do. It's right here. And it goes with, I'm sorry, it's right here. It goes here with 38. So 1.8.1. But you can see that 1.8.0 goes with 39, and it's right here. So that's how we can verify that, in fact, the section we just created has the right edition attached to it. So let's open this up and take a look at the information. So now that we're verifying it, we can see that, again, it's which trimester it is in, department, name, number, the instructor. I can change it here. Let's say it changes to somebody else. I can change it. I'm not going to change it here. I'll change it in another place if I want to. I can also look at the course edition. So what would happen if just for some reason you say, oh no, I don't want 1.8.1 to run. I really wanted 1.8.0. If I click on this drop down, I can choose a different edition, even if it's an older one. Even if it's my very first edition from a long time ago, 0.0.1, I could choose that if I wanted to. And then I would have to redeploy it. I can also adjust the dates if they change. If I made an error in connecting the length on this one, I could change that there, and I can change other pieces of information as well. So it really gives you a lot of flexibility. Now, the other situation that you may have here is, as you notice, you could only add one instructor. So what if you wanted to add a second instructor to this? What would you do? Well, you would go into a slightly different section, which is assign instructors to a section. So again, this is another place where you can verify that the section you published actually worked. So again, we're going to go to BQL, 210, the section, which again is 38. We're going to click on search. And then what do we get? We get that section. So right now I only have one instructor, but let's say it's a Team Talk course. I wanted to add another one. I could simply add another instructor. And then click assign, and that instructor would be assigned to that course. I'm actually not going to do that right now, but that's how that works. The last way we can verify is we can go to the Jump To menu. And you should, as an administrator, you should have this Jump To in order to do a final verification. So to do that, I want to make sure I'm in the right term. So again, in this case, W15. And now I'm going to type in that name and the number. And then I see that my section is here. And if I click on it, I get to that course, and I can see that the instructor is assigned. So I've just shown you a very thorough way of going through it and I would say a very stepped way as well of going into design, publishing a course, creating an edition, connecting that edition to it to create a section, and then making sure that it happened properly and that you can see everything.